I just came from meeting the Chief of Staff of the City of Tucson, City Manager, and meeting with the President of the University of Arizona. And on my way here, I was called and told that more of my signs have been stolen. I mentioned that because the last time I had a press conference, I talked about signs being stolen for our campaign. And I think that brings us to today, which is important. I want to thank Dave Fitzsimmons from the Arizona Daily Star for reminding all of us this week of the machine that has been flattening our progress on economy, jobs, and business. For some of these things, they just seem to get in the way. You know, back in 1962, President John F. Kennedy said, "Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future." Just this week, we saw a large employer send out the news that they were leaving Tucson along with their 245 jobs. The Eller School at the U of A has updated their tracking numbers on the overall economy and showed us that for 2018, the Tucson economy had zero economic growth, while the rest of Arizona was going gangbusters. The jobs growth for our Tucson economy lagged all but one community across the state and the southwest region. Our median household income numbers actually lagged much of the rest of the state of Arizona. The question is, how many more jobs and poor economic numbers do we need to see? How many more economic opportunities need to be ground down? How many more economic opportunities need to be flattened by the machine before we can change the status quo? In this election, we know that to date, less than 1 in 3 voters have returned their ballots. You know, there is a choice for our future. Tucson's future depends on the voters listening here today. We need to make it clear that there is a real choice in this election. You can choose a path where we get the basics right. Choose the option where the roads, parks, police, and fire are at the top of the list each and every day. Choose the option where the future for all Tucsonans is no longer just another opportunity flattened by a machine. Choose the future where the voters make the decisions and not the machine. You know, I was born and raised in Tucson, and during my time growing up here, we were taught to look to the future with hope, love our country, and to be patriotic and be part of the solution, not be the problem. When I announced my run for mayor on January 11th, I made it my intent to jump in and make a difference. That was how I was brought up, and that is the Tucson that I know. You jump in and you become part of the solution. The Tucson Metropolitan Statistical Area Economic Report Card was released by the University of Arizona Eller College of Management. It shows that from 2017 to 2018, there was 0% business growth in our town. In 2018, the Tucson MSA generated no growth in the number of establishments employing workers. Why is this important? The change in the total number of establishments reflects the dynamism of the local economy, as well as the overall ups and downs associated with the business cycles. Local areas with strong business growth may generate correspondingly strong gains in jobs and income that contribute to increases in the standard of living and tax base. On Tuesday, we received the news that another Tucson company is shuttering. Dun & Bradstreet plans to close its office in Tucson, leaving 245 employees out of work here. Big box stores including Sears, Target, Kmart, and Macy's have closed. Dozens of restaurants have closed, recently including The Fix, Mion Sushi and Hokey Pokey, Casa Valencia, Harvest, and longtime establishments, Lotus Garden, Cushing Street, and Club 21. And the list goes on. When prospect companies come to Tucson or visitors come to our community, they drive on roads that are in poor condition, they hear stories of lack of police and fire resources, and the parks have a reputation of not being clean, green, and safe. This election for mayor will have consequences for Tucson's future. If the political machine, as depicted in the recent newspaper cartoon, is allowed to steamroll over the election, the trajectory of Tucson's economy is at stake. As a community, we're on the cusp of taking a road down having more companies depart from Tucson, sluggish job growth, and continued low standard of living for residents. We can do better. We can jump in and say no to the machine, say no to being steamrolled, and say yes to a new way of looking ahead. Let's get the basics right. Let's get our police force equipped and staffed back up to over 1,000 officers. Let's get our firefighters the staff they need, implement the 311 non-emergency system, And let's reinforce the TC3 Collaborative Care Unit to take the burden off our first responders. Let's get these roads fixed. Let's fill the potholes. Let's resurface the streets and clean the medians. Clean the medians. That's the least we can do. If Tucson is going to embrace the future and change the trajectory of economic development, we have to get these things right. Since declaring for mayor, the campaign has prioritized these issues that everyday citizens in Tucson insist are important, including public safety, roads, and parks. These issues are clearly defined in the city charter as the responsibility of mayor and council. If you continue to have a ballot, you need to return it. There are 7 locations on Tuesday that you can return your ballot. You can drop it off today or Monday at the City Clerk's Processing Center. You can refer to my website, ackerleyformayor.com, for information and addresses to go to the City Clerk's website. This election is critical. It will determine the future of Tucson. I implore you, save Tucson, return your ballot. I need you to vote, and the future of Tucson needs you. They need you to return your ballot. Let's make Tucson's future good for all of us. Thank you for coming and for your engagement in the process, and I hope that you will jump in.
Go Ackerley.